Silently stalking the streets of London one mistful midnight, Wack was completely driven by his dark, devilish desire for death. Tragically, this frightfully fateful evening also saw several damsels meet their dreadful demise, and by all accounts, it was a scarring sight described as a feeding of a monster. The dastardly devil was never seen again, and it was like he vanished into thin air without a trace. Well, until today, that is. Wack the Bloody Ripper is here, everyone. And he is way cooler, way scarier than I gave him credit for at first. So let's get to it. And we'll get to that. But for now, we need to discuss his base perks so that when we do eventually go Ripper mode, we will understand the changes more clearly. And I know, I teased the good stuff. But Wack is more than just a frail yet bloody killer. At first, you'll likely notice a set of fairly average stats, minus that health of course, but come dusk, a pretty big sanity drain will begin. And that's due to Wack losing 50% more sanity from negative sanity auras and darkness, something that we will have to constantly battle to maybe stay out of Ripper mode if we don't want to enter it. And yes, this all means that things will get even worse come total darkness, but here's the thing. Wack here actually prefers dusk and nights. In fact, he thrives the later it gets. Wack is not a morning stalker, and will be tired enough to the point where even simple tasks like harvesting resources is going to be slower than normal. Might not look like it, but it's true. And yes, this tiredness will translate to chopping trees, and no, what you're seeing is no joke, as this is indeed the speed at which you will be swinging an axe. Mining will be super slow too, as you can imagine. Crafting is an absolute slog in the mornings too, so be mindful there, as that also means building things is also going to be slower. And finally, even attack speed is slightly slowed come this time, meaning less hits per kiting pattern, and that's a pretty big issue for most of us, as we're kind of used to certain timings, are we not? So be careful out there while you're spilling blood. Now I get it, all of that may sound very annoying, but it's only in the mornings, mind you. That's why I showed you me doing the same task come dusk. Besides, the one thing that doesn't slow down is our movement speed, so you will still be getting things done quite swiftly. In fact, Wack is actually faster than most characters at the end of the day. And would you believe it, come dusk, said speeds will only increase as Wack will get a teensy tiny bit faster once the sun begins to set, and even faster still once there is no light at all. So you see, he's just not a morning person. That's all. So enjoy. But before we let him truly rip, here are a few final perks of his. Wack is an expert chef, meaning his cook speed will be off the flippin' charts regardless of the time of day. If Wack is above 25% wetness, any fish within his inventory will be better preserved with higher spoilage timers, sort of like Wirt's fishy perk. While not always the best option if one does want to go into Ripper mode, Wack will benefit from a significant sanity gain bonus when sleeping in tents, double of what others benefit from usually. Be mindful though, the longer you sleep, the groggier you will be when you wake up, and the longer said grogginess will last. And this is just a really fun touch. Wack, though, will net a bonus of 5 sanity per munch of any non-crockpot fish-related foods in the game, regardless of whether they are supposed to give you sanity or not, while crockpot fishies will give an extra 10 points of sanity per bite. Not bad. And all that food and fish-related stuff is all because of Wack loving fish foods, specifically fish sticks here. So enjoy 45 hunger, 15 sanity technically, and 40 health each. But lastly, mind when potentially eating spoiling to spoiled foods as Wack, as he will only gain half the hunger and lose an extra 5 sanity from such foods. But yes, without further ado, Wack the Bloody Ripper, everyone. Attacking things, getting hit yourself, killing stuff, setting fires, holding sharp weapons, starving, eating spoiled or monster foods, experiencing extreme temperatures, and sitting at low health or sanity will raise his hidden Ripperness stat by every second, while murdering Chester, Hutch, or another player will simply instantly transform him into Well, this bloody terrifying thing. Come Ripper mode, plenty happens. However, the biggest new perk is his laughing. Laughing raises his damage instantly, and the lower your health and sanity, the more you will be doing it. But Ripper mode also means no more tiredness in the mornings, so everything that was once slow is now normal, if you know what I mean. Thing is though, it also means no more expert chefing or fish preservation perks. So bad kind of becomes good, good becomes worse sort of deal. Wack the Ripper, though, will also have a base damage boost regardless of his laugh, so be mindful there. However, if you happen to hit something while laughing, you will perform a powerful short-ranged area of effect attack that will deal 100 base damage, plus all the other modifiers at play that may even hurt other players. As get this everyone, interestingly enough, Ripper mode automatically activates PvP regardless of whether the world settings has it on or not, and that's pretty darn neat. But during Ripper mode, Wack will also never lose sanity from things that are not magic related or a tent, as yes, sanity actually plummets when you sleep in Ripper mode, if you can even sleep at all, given that how laughing wakes you up. Wack the Ripper can also take a hit from Charlie when in complete darkness, but can only do so once, very similar to Winona. And finally, eating monster foods, attacking things, getting hit, killing stuff, and setting fires will all prolong Ripper mode at the end of the day. Have fun. Oh, and by the way, how do you actually know you're approaching Ripper mode? Well, just check your eyes. If Wack is rubbing his eyes often, you're getting close. But to wrap up the day, let us cover the remaining details here, like how playing Wack suddenly sees the mobs of the constant and those within it producing blood and blood trails. Different mob types produce different colored blood, as I'm sure you have noticed throughout the day here. But if you're one to not actually want any of that, then don't worry. There are configuration options available to you, as you can see. But here is a look at Wack's Ghost, and I've got to say it is definitely one of the better looking ones we have had in quite some time. And lastly, Wack's voice and his Ripper voice, as they are not one and the same, folks. Give them a listen. And there you have it, everyone. Wack, and perhaps even Wack the Bloody Ripper, as this here could essentially be two characters in one. But many thanks to Waif, Yuri, and Senjen for all your hard work on a pretty darn special character, honestly, as I admittedly overlooked them, but they definitely put me in my place here today. They delivered for sure. A unique and distinct set of pros and cons, alongside a pretty darn creepy underlying hidden Ripper mode that we can choose to either embrace or hold off as the player is pretty awesome. I like it. Well done. Thanks for watching, folks. Well wishes to all. Beware the laugh. And I'll see ya in the next one. Bye-bye.